All right, this is chapter 13. It's called Frosty's New Adventure, and it's the last chapter. We're finally almost, 4 months later, done with our story. Okay, Frosty's New Adventure list. So let's see what happens to this little pup right here. The next morning, after all the gifts had been delivered, Mrs. Claus invited the pups back to the North Pole adventures. She brought out platters filled with warm sausages and peanut butter treats, and Henry sipped a mug of hot chocolate and then played a few songs on the fiddle. All of the puppies curled up into the front crackling fire for the rest of the night. In the far corner of the shop, Santa snoozed in his rocking chair. As soon as Wally finished his breakfast, Mrs. Claus called them over. "I have something for you," she said. Quietly, she led him out to the garage and back by the shop. She handed him a wrapped package. "What is it?" Wally asked. He nosed the package open, and dozens of pictures fell out onto the floor. They were pictures of Wally and Henry and their great ice race team. They were pictures of the puppy pirate crew cheering them on. There was even a picture of Frosty. Wally poked through the whole batch. He stopped at a picture of him and Henry standing side by side in front of the dinghy filled with gifts. "These are for you to do with as you wish," Mrs. Claus said, smiling. As soon as she said it, Wally knew exactly what he wanted to give Henry for a gift. It wasn't big, it wasn't shiny, but it was perfect. He would make Henry a memory book of their adventure at the North Pole. That way his best mate would never forget their time there. So Wally's going to make Henry like a scrapbook. Mrs. Claus smiled and nodded, even though Wally hadn't said anything. In case you were wondering, parchment and glue are on the bottom shelf next to the paint. Wally got to work. In no time, he had a photo book, and he couldn't wait to share it with his friend. He even dipped his paw into red paint and pressed it onto the cover. That way, Henry knew who it was from. When Wally returned to the front of the shop, his mates of the Salty Bone were giving each other gifts. Humphrey had found a blanket for Spike that was just like the one he used, only much bigger. Pugly gave the weirdos matching elf suits, and Santa gave Captain Redbeard a huge box filled with every single thing on his Christmas his list. So Captain Redbeard still got everything he wanted. Redbeard eyed the gifts greedily, so he's looking at them greedy. Here's a picture. Then, one by one, he passed them out to his crew. "This stuffed duck is for you," he said to Curly, "and this old shoe suits you," he said to Old Salt. "This tasty bone is for you, and this bag of jewels is for you." This went on until all the gifts were given out. Giving gifts is almost as good as getting them. Almost. So Captain Redbeard throughout this book has really changed a lot. He was so selfish at first, and now he just gave all his gifts to his crew, which is really nice. Frosty got up from his place. "And we have a gift for you, our pirate friends," he said, "a present from the North Pole Racers." Captain Redbeard's tail wagged. "Oh, and another present for me?" "I'll open it." He tore up the wrapping paper, and a pile of tangled ropes spilled out onto the floor. "We got you your own harness and tow lines," Frosty said, bouncing up and down with excitement. "If you ever want to rig up a sleigh, you already have the stuff. Your crew will need to pull it off. Maybe you could try pulling some kind of sled through the sand sometimes." While Captain Redbeard tried on the new gear, the puppy pirates went around thanking the Huskies. Then Wally got to Frosty, and the little pup said, "I was wondering something, Wally." And Wally cocked his head. "What?" "Do you think Captain Redbeard would let me join your crew? For good?" Wally's tail wagged. The thought of having a new friend on board made him really happy. "Well, won't you miss your friends here and your adventures in the snow?" "I can come back to visit my old friends," Frosty said. "And if I joined your crew, I would make so many new friends." The little pup sighed. "I love exploring, but I hate the cold. I don't think I'll ever feel like I'm part of the action here, Wally did know. Not long ago, he was the pup hoping for a new life filled with friends and adventure. He understood how Frosty felt, and he wanted to be able to share his pirate life with a new friend. He was sure Frosty would love the high seas and the life on the salty bone. And after the great ice race, Frosty already seemed like a part of their crew. As soon as Captain Redbeard heard the idea, he leapt up and he howled, "Of course the pup can join the crew. Christmas is all about giving, right? So let's give him the whole ship. I'll give him my job as captain, too." Curly stepped forward and said quietly, maybe the best gift for Frosty would just be the gift of pirate training. Wally could help him learn the ropes as a cabin pup, and then we can see how it goes from there." Yes, Redbeard thought. Yes, just like I said. I think perhaps he should start as the cabin pup. Then he spun in a happy circle and raced towards the door. Now that all of our bellies are full and our tails are wagging, it's time for us to return to our home, our ship. Our next adventure awaits. As everyone said their goodbyes, Henry pulled Wally aside. "Hey, mate, I have a little something for you." He handed Wally a gift and it was wrapped in brown paper. "It's not fancy, but I hope you like it." "I have something for you too," Wally said. He dropped the book of photos in Henry's lap. The two friends opened their gifts at the same time. "It's a book of stories I wrote," Henry told Wally. "I wrote all about our best adventures, the treasure hunt on Boneyard Island, the battle against the sea slug, and that time we were prisoners on the Kitten pirate ship. It's all in there. I can read it to you before bed sometimes. The only thing I haven't put in there yet is our trip to the North Pole." That's when Henry opened the book from Wally. He laughed when he saw the pictures of their North Pole journey. "You made me a book about the great ice race?" He patted Wally on the back of the head and said, "I guess we had the same idea. In case you were wondering, great minds think alike." As the puppy pirates padded back to their ship, Wally nuzzled his head against Henry's leg. Just ahead of him, Millie and Stink sang a song. Behind him, he could hear the pugs telling Frosty about their next prank. Wally thought about how lucky he was to have such good friends. They had been on many adventures together, and the best part was there were many more to come. Wally was certain that having great friends is the greatest gift of all. That's all. So we finally finished our book. Only took 4 months. I hope you guys like that book. That was really cute. I like that story. In the back, it gives us directions on how to draw a puppy pirate. So I will take a picture of this and link it into the Google Docs so you guys, maybe for art, can draw a puppy pirate. I don't know if that's Frosty or who that is, so there might be more details on it. But have fun with the drawing.